He has stepped down from royal duties with his reputation in ruin.
Britain's tabloids going into full swing, calling Prince Andrew a royal outcast. Royal watchers stunned by the royal family's latest attempt to tamp down the scandal engulfing Prince Andrew.
It's an unprecedented move in modern times. We haven't had a senior member of the royal family stepping back from official royal duties for as long as we can remember in modern times.
In a statement, Prince Andrew explained, "It has become clear to me over the last few days that the circumstances relating to my former association with Jeffrey Epstein have become a major disruption." His interview last Saturday drew almost immediate condemnation, criticized for not sympathizing with Epstein's accusers and not appreciating the severity of what Epstein was accused of doing.
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming? He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite, in the sense that he was a sex offender.
The Queen's second son attempting to cast doubt on the photo of him with Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who alleges in court documents that Epstein directed her to have sex with the prince when she was 17.
I mean, that is what I would describe as me in that picture. But we can't be certain as to whether or not that's my hand, because I have no recollection of that photograph ever being taken.
Prince Andrew categorically denied having sex with the teenage Giuffre and said he does not even remember meeting her. But in the days since the interview, a number of companies and organizations started reconsidering their partnerships with the prince, including a major British telecom company and a university where he serves as chancellor. In his statement, Prince Andrew said he continues to unequivocally regret his ill-judged connection to the financier, offering sympathy to Epstein's accusers and expressing a willingness to speak with law enforcement. The man eighth in line to the throne says he went to his mother, the Queen, for permission to step down for the foreseeable future from his duties, and she granted it. Not long after the shocking announcement, the 93-year-old Queen, no stranger to scandals in the royal family, attended a public event Wednesday, which also happened to be her 72nd wedding anniversary. As for whether Prince Andrew will speak to authorities in the U.S., we reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they had no comment. Many of Epstein's victims hope those who either knew about his alleged sex trafficking ring or those who took part in it will face charges. There's also an investigation that's being conducted in France, so those investigators may want to speak to him as well, guys.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. We want to bring in royal commentator Victoria Arbiter. Victoria, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You read the tea leaves over at the palace pretty well. Is this a situation where Prince Andrew would have said, I need to step down, or was he pushed?
Pushed, I think, in a word. I mean, of course, nothing happens within royal circles without a committee. So there will have been a team of advisors. Prince Charles is currently in New Zealand on tour. He will have been brought into the conversation because, of course, he's next in line, and he's the one that really potentially suffers the fallout of the damage Prince Andrew's done to the monarchy this week. Prince Andrew will have come in as well. In order to save face, he was allowed to construct his own statement and deliver his own statement. But this was very much a case of the Queen and Prince Charles.
Yeah, in reality, how severe is this punishment? Like, he wasn't exiled, right? He just has been told he will not have his royal duties anymore.
Right, and I think that's incredibly humiliating. And I think this week has been so humbling for Prince Andrew. This is a man who has known, yes, his whole life. He's incredibly entitled. He's lived in this royal bubble. And it was the arrogance we saw come through in that interview. So I think he's probably reeling this morning, can't quite believe that it's come to this, because Prince Andrew as well thought that this interview was a good thing. He was trying to manage damage control, I suppose, and distance himself from Epstein, but he didn't.
Well, it's kind of interesting. He was actually kind of surviving all of this until he did this interview.
That's exactly right. Like, all of these corporate sponsors that have pulled out of their relationship with Andrew this week, they all stuck by him until this interview. But then, of course, they all have to worry about their brand and their image.
Victoria, how real is the worry over the pond that the prince might face some sort of legal entanglement here, whether it's civil, whether it's criminal, that there may be more to this?
Obviously, the royal family likes to stay out of the fray of legal proceedings. But if Prince Andrew is telling the truth, he has nothing to fear. Whether or not he's telling the truth remains to be seen. Of course, they don't want to get tied up in an international criminal investigation. But thankfully, Prince Andrew has now said what he should have said in the interview, which is that he will cooperate with authorities. He expressed sympathy. He showed regret. Had he done all of those things last Saturday, the outcome could have been very different.
Do we know if the family signed off on that interview? Do we know whether there was any input from Her Majesty?
The Queen would have known the interview was going ahead because nothing happens within the monarchy without the Queen knowing. I don't think she understood the full extent of it. It wouldn't have happened had she known the full extent of it. Prince Andrew was the only one, I think, sort of bulldozing ahead, not taking the advice from those around him.
Just really quickly, I mean, obviously the interview backfired in a major way. It did not go over well with the British public. Right. Is that because they don't believe him? They thought they were looking at him lying about the facts and that the affair really happened? Or did they just think, he looks bad, we're tired of him, it's a mess and we want out of it?
A bit of both, Savannah. I mean, the court of public opinion is incredibly powerful. This is a man that's not been investigated, charged, convicted of any crime at this point. But what came across in that interview was arrogance, no regret, no remorse. And in 50 minutes, he didn't mention those victims once. Yeah. Had he done that, I think he'd be looking at a different future today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Victoria.